Well, good morning and welcome to this week's Market Carver. You know, it may be Labor Day week, but we're still at work. Even though we enjoyed Monday off, I hope you had a great Monday off as well. Lots are going on inside of the market underneath the hood, which is what we're paid to watch. It's easy to see the news flashes, but what's really going on? And I will give you this theme for the radio show for this week, as well as the Market Carver. Birds of a feather flock together. You know, we have these old sayings that we use all the time, but they really are real sometimes. In this case, it is very, very true. Birds of a feather tend to flock together. Now, if you're enjoying the Market Carver, I will tell you this up front. Please share this with your friends and family. We do this for free. We do it as information so that people can have a better understanding of what's going on in the market, besides just getting financial news, which they don't necessarily know what to do with. I want to try to take Market Carver and give you actionable advice, things you can do, not about which stock to buy or whether you should be in or whether you should be out, but at least understanding what's going on in the economy. Now, you may or may not know this, but we break the market into three segments. The first one is the narrative. It's the big picture. It's the story of what's going on. That's my job. Adam, our CFA and Chief Investment Officer, his job is to look at the valuation, the fundamentals of what's going on. Andrew, our chartered market technician, his job is to look at what is the market doing relative to itself and relative to what's going on inside of the world. So you put those three together, and that's how we're able to build portfolios. That's what is able to create this discussion that we have today. I would tell you that it's worthwhile if you mention this to your friends, your family, to have them join us. So we got 5 topics I think we're going to hit today. We're still finding a challenge finding workers. That's not going to be a shock for any of you. Projections for Q3 have been rapidly falling. I am kind of iffy on that one. Still best in breed, improvements in 6-month high list, and mid-cap stocks. That's a important one when we talk about the birds of a feather flock together. So can small businesses hire enough workers? We have an office in Brownsburg, Indiana. I can't tell you this for certain. It's alleged in my mind, but there are 2 fast food chains, big fast food chains, ones you wouldn't expect to go under, that are actually closing their doors because they can't hire people at $18 an hour. Almost unimaginable, knowing that I worked at Wendy's for $4 an hour back in 1985. It is shocking to see some of the things that are taking place, but you're hearing this story over and over and over. Now, as you all know, the federal supplement on unemployment fell off this week, so we'll see if there's a change. But right now, there is a huge problem. The roll-off of the extra benefits, however, so far, did not spur new jobs in half the states. So some of the states said, we don't want the extra benefit. No, thank you. They still didn't find the new jobs. Kids are back to schools. The next big hope to getting people back to work, we'll see. I will tell you, we have 38 people on our team. I will tell you it is a challenge for some of them when schools close because of COVID or whatever it is. You know, who's going to stay home and watch the kids in terms of where we're going. Projections for Q3 have been rapidly falling. Now, we can go through this. We can talk about it. We can discuss it. Here's the points. So far, bad news has been good news for stocks. The delay, easy, Fed taper, you know, all of the reasons. We always try to have an excuse. We always try to have a narrative for why something is happening. All we know for sure is that the market didn't collapse and the bond yields didn't collapse with them. We are in very, very interesting times in terms of where we are. Where it winds up, nobody knows, but it is an interesting period of time. And economically, I think you're going to walk out of this with haves and the have-nots, no different than what we've seen lately. We are still best in breed. The U.S. economy wins the G7. So when you talk about G7, you're looking at the world's largest economies, right? This is not a third world. When we talk about the return to normal in terms of where we are, cumulative GDP versus what the rest of the world has done in the G7, we are ahead of the race. As a certified financial planner and Adam as a CFA, and the way we manage money, we look for diversification. We look ways to offset risk. One of those ways is to have international holdings. But we're not going to buy something that we know is intentionally going to lose money. And that's why you're not seeing a lot of international investments inside of portfolios. The United States is just clearly ahead of this race in terms of where we are. This is the birds of a feather flock together, and it is a critical thing for you to understand in terms of how the market is moving. Going into September, it was just the mega caps, if you will, that were really driving the market force. And the bottom line is we're now seeing that participation come from all of them. Now, you can see that line that Andrew has drawn. Thrasher Analytics is Andrew's company, and he works for the Financial Enhancement Group, but that's his babies. The Thrasher Analytics is a chartered market technician. He studies those charts, and those lines, known as resistance, are very, very critical. And he's watching those to see if they can be able to break through that line. But right now, we are on a very, very good trend. This is his commentary, if you will. We're now well off the peak of 47.5. While we're back at 26% of the stocks trading at a 6-month highs, he'd like to see it expand a little high, 30% for several weeks now. And while it's not horrible, seeing this grow versus stagnant would be an encouraging sign. So we're still continuing to watch. I showed you this a couple weeks ago where we look at the large cap, the mid cap, the small cap, and the micro cap. Things are actually going in the right direction. Does he want it more positive? Yes. Do I want it more positive? Yes. But that's where we are, and we're heading into that period of time, and we're still in one of the worst months of the year historically for the market. We're heading into that period of time where the market really sees its growth. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. We'll skip the reading on that. If you want more, don't forget to join us on the Consider This program, our radio show, or our podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to share this with your friends. Consider This program, and tell them to go to yourlifeafterwork.com for the Market Carver. You have a great week. We look forward to seeing you again soon.